Okay, let's do your homework, shall we? So I believe it was page 25, 1 to 15. So, you need to know what the vocabulary is, Sweepy. So, it's back. No, it writes itself. So, long division, write rational number as a terminating decimal. Okay, long division, rational number, terminating decimal. You need to know what those phrases mean or you can't do anything. So, long division is a process, which is a task, like taking out the garbage. Every day taking out the garbage is slightly different, or every week, let's be real. But it's also kind of the same, right? Rational number is what you have there. Remember I told you rational is ratio, which means fraction, or sometimes decimal. And terminating decimal means a decimal that does not repeat. So as I'm glancing at these, 1, 3, 5, those are all going to terminate. So the first one, if you have that picture sheet out, it says 76 and 1/2. Well, we talked about this. Yes, you should use long division, but if you remember, what does deci of decimal mean, Sweepy? 10, right? So you write point and then something, but they're all based on 10. So 1/2, here, check this out. Here's my 10. Here's half of 10. How many do I have? So it's 76.5. Oh, I can hear water in the basement. I better go check on that. Same thing with number 3. Remember how we said remind yourself it's a negative and then just kind of write it on the side? 47 over 10, that just takes the 47, and so if you were to write it as a decimal, you'd have 47.0. Well, you just take the decimal, and you, instead of 47, it becomes 4.7. Those are the answers you're looking for. I don't know if they're in the back of the book or not, but so make sure you know what those 3 things mean. The next section, 7, 9, and 11, right? It says simplify each rational number, so fraction again, right? But then use long division to write each rational number as a terminating decimal. So they want you to do both. So remember we talked about your factor trees of reducing it to simplest form, right? So remember when we pulled out the Legos and we were trying to figure out how we can group stuff? That's what you're going to need to do. So number 7, 99 over 36. You should do factor trees on that, but maybe you know right away that they can both be divided by 3. And then you say, okay, that's 33 over 12. And then you say, wait, they can both be divided by 3 again. That's 11 over 4. That's what it reduces to in simplest form. Or you could have just known right away if you did the factor trees, they both are divisible, that's the word, by 9. Now I know Mom's going fast, but I want to make this short and you can just watch it over and over and over again. And then 11 over 4, you just divide 11 into, 4 into 11, right? So 4 is outside and the 11's inside, and then you put a decimal at the back, make a bunch of zeros. I can show you if you need that. It ends up being 2 whole parts, right? Because remember, let's say I have 11 Lego pieces, or 11 pieces of candy, and I say I want to group them in 4, right? So I would do 4, and then 4, and then there'd be 3 left over. So you'd have 2 whole parts and 3/4 of the last part, which becomes 0.75. Remember, it's like quarters. 75 cents are 3 out of 4 quarters. So it becomes 2.75. Again, I know Mom's rattling this off, but you'll get there, buddy. You can just watch it again. Number 9, same thing. Number 11, again, tell yourself, put the negative on the thing so you don't forget to add that back. So number 13, using long division, write each rational number, again, that's a fraction, that's what we have, as a repeating decimal with 3 decimal places. So anything that is divisible by 3 in a decimal becomes, or in a fraction, becomes repeating, which number-wise, it's really kind of interesting why. But so 3, 6, 9, 11 is a repeating, but that's not a divisible by 3, but yeah, it becomes repeating. If it's 3, but not, mom puts a qualification, but yeah, 3, 6, 9, 11. So 5, again, 5 divided by 6, and you put the decimal, 0, 0, 0. So you say, how many times does 6 go into 5? It doesn't. How many times does 6 go into 50? Right? Well, it goes into 50 8 times. 6 times 8 is 48, right? So you do the 50 minus the 48. That becomes 2. Carry the 0. Now you ask how many times does 6 go into 20? And you say 3 times, because 3 times 6 is 18. So you put the 3 up by your 8. So it's 0.83. 3 times 6 is 18. Subtract. You get 2 again. So again, you carry the 0 down. And you ask how many times does 6 go into 20? Goes in 3 times. And you get 18. And then you subtract that from 20 and you get 2 again. And it just goes on and 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 on. So you end up with the answer 0.083. But with the bar over the 3, but because it specifically says the 3 decimal places, you just point 0.0833. So, and now 15 talks about decimal with bar notation. That was just what Mom was just talking about. You put a bar over the top of the repeating part. That's normally how they're written. Like number 13 is kind of like nobody writes it that way. I shouldn't say that. In business, people write it that way, but not in like pure math. So 55, you'll notice that number is 5 times 11. Anything with an 11 in it repeats. So I would use a calculator to check all these. The whole parts, like numbers 1, 3, and 5. Well, 1 is really the only one that has a whole part. Don't mess with the 76. Don't change a mixed number to an improper fraction. That's a total waste of everyone's time, especially yours. But remember your vocabulary, sweet pea. What is long division? What is a rational number? A decimal, a terminating decimal, right? Bar notation. Okay? So much of math is vocabulary, but it's a vocabulary with symbols and with counting. Okay? There's never any shame in using your fingers. There's never any shame in writing it down, thinking about it for a long time. Time is your friend. Trying to do things speed fast is, don't worry about that at all right now. You're trying to lay a foundation. Remember, Mom's going to tell you the real long, broad way so you can build up your proper tower. Okay? Call me if you have any questions. I love you, darling. Bye. I love you.